Hey guys, Incoming Brulee here, and I just made some chocolate lava cake. It turned out pretty well. I actually got some to share with you guys, so feel free to come over and try some. But anyways, I wanted to do another one of these more serious topic commentaries, and what I want to talk about is the social media filter bubble, and this is something that I've had to learn a lot about back in my fall quarter in political science. But recently I was watching a TED Talk video, which I'll probably link in the description, that was detailing about that. And essentially what it is basically the most popular websites on the internet, the ones where our digital lives are all focused around, are actually making ourselves more closed-minded. And it's really interesting because an example of Facebook, right? Facebook, if you notice, for most people, I'd say you have anywhere between like 200 to 400 friends, somewhere in that area. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But, definitely in the few hundred range. Sorry. And if you actually scroll down your wall and you look down, your whole feed, you'll actually notice that, taking out all the pages that you liked and just solely having your friends, you'll probably only see around 20-ish people, and they just keep their statuses, and these 20 people just keep repeating over and over across your wall. And what's interesting is that Facebook has actually designed it this way on purpose, so that you only see the people on your friends list you relate the most to. And this could be whether the info on your page, whether you're really Christian or really conservative or really liberal or really concerned about the environment or all about free market. And they'll actually look at that, and also people's links you click on the most, and it's like an algorithm that actually designs it so that you only see people who share the same interest as you. And for most people, they'd probably say, why is this a bad thing? I mean, Facebook is all about sharing information with your friends. I mean, if there's any real friends they don't see on your status, then you could just look them up on Facebook really easily. They don't necessarily have to be from the wall feed. And there's some truth to that. There's definitely truth to that, and there's nothing wrong with that. In the case of just socializing, it's fine, but the problem is that most people who have a Facebook are actually really active in it, and you can probably check it daily and spend a good amount of time just scrolling through their wall feed. And a lot of it has to do with meaningless talking, which could be anything from high school to the movie you saw, which is fun to talk about with friends, but it's not any of a significant value. But then you have people who present links about issues that they care about. I mean, one could have been recently Kony 2012, right? That was all across Facebook. And the year before that you had the earthquake in Japan, and I think a few years ago you had Haiti, I think that's how you pronounce it, with the whole earthquake there. And you have issues like that, and depending on the type of issue, if that is current events, but it actually makes it, I'm losing my train of thought here, sorry, but it actually makes it so with a topic that you have definite two sides on something current like that, you only see your own side reflected back onto you. And the problem here is that you get this thought process that, well, on Facebook it represents basically everyone who I socialize with in the world, and so that means that everyone in the world must think like this. And it's not as black as white in that. Obviously people don't straight think like that, but you get that impression that my opinion is right because everyone else on my wall feed seems to agree with that. And that's that's the problem, because Facebook is now making it so that it closes off all those other people's opinions and beliefs that either offend you or are challenging for you to comprehend, or just basically make life a little bit more difficult. And once again, people could say, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, Facebook is just meant to be a fun website. But the problem here is that you now have this wrong impression on the world. It's now that you don't fully understand that there's other people's opinions out there that matter just as much, and they could be wrong, but there's also a good chance that they could be right as well. And it's important to have all the information there. That you can't just have one side. You have to have like all the sides of an issue to fully understand it. I mean, and a great example here is just politics, right? I mean, well, a great example that I can give from my personal life, which does relate to politics, is back in fall quarter, I made a friend in my math class, and we were basically just polar opposites. Like, she was like really Christian, conservative, and I was Jewish liberal, pretty much, right? So it was actually, and it was weird because I had her on Facebook as a friend, and I'd basically be talking to her every day, but I never see anything that she put up on my wall feed. And I was just thinking, like, at first, like, maybe she's just not active in Facebook, but it actually turned out that Facebook's algorithm that actually designates what you see and what you don't see knew that we were polar opposites in our beliefs and our political views, so that they actually made so we couldn't see each other. And this actually, it's a very good example, because even people that you know in your daily life are actually closed off from you on this Facebook. Yeah, it's really amazing though, because I feel like a lot of people don't recognize this and they don't see the problem there. Right? Another website they can also refer this to is, I think Google's famous with its algorithms, right? I mean, but what's even more shocking, like, everyone, there's a general understanding now that Google has specified searches for you, so that depending on where you are or what your past history has been, stuff like that. That's the type of searches you can get. And in this TED Talk, the person actually had two of his friends look up Egypt right into Google, and one friend was designated. One friend who wasn't politically active and the other friend who was politically active got two completely different web searches. The person who wasn't politically active got like plane trips to Egypt, weather, pictures, history of Egypt, and one who was politically active got all like links and constant news about what was the current happenings of democracy in Egypt and the revolts and the election process. I mean, that's just another good example. And I know that a lot of you think, well, like, with Facebook and Google, they're not like essentially the only places that you get your information from. I mean, it's a good chunk of it, but I mean, you have other sources, right? But the problem is that a lot of people are mimicking Facebook and Google's like algorithms and their search processes. And now like Yahoo News, which from what the guy said on the video is the biggest internet news, but I can definitely say it's a pretty huge internet news source. I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's definitely up there. And it's now specialized, and I even starting to know this. Like, I click on a lot of food links and political links, right? So I keep getting like things like, oh, top 10 burgers in America, or like, Gingrich dropped out of the GOP race. I mean, it's specialized to me, and in a sense, it's like, it takes out like the trouble of like, having to specifically search for something or going like through pages of websites. But it's also a problem because there's so much more out there, and it's not even just me; it's everyone in the world. There's so much more out there besides our own personal interests, and we can't just be shut off from it. What I'm trying to say is that like others' opinions, people matters. No matter how how much they contradict with your own, it's important to have them there, because like the guy said in the video also, and I believe it was actually, sorry, backstepping here, but I think it was Thomas Jefferson, not completely sure, but he said, I'd rather have a like no government and a functioning newspaper than no newspaper and a functioning government. And I probably just butchered that quote there, but what I'm trying to say is that America especially, but like any democracy, needs their citizens to have an appropriate have the a constant feed of information. And my computer just blacked out. Okay, here we go. Like any citizen in a democracy needs to know what's going on with their government, know what's going on with the world. They can't just be shut off, or else the government can take advantage of those people. I know it's an extreme thought, but it's also becoming a possibility. I mean, most people seem to just be ignorant with the news. I mean, they have their own lives, and it's just a pain to deal with for most of them. But it's important. It's important for us as citizens to know what's going on in the world. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been talking for like 11 minutes here, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cut it off. But I really like this topic. It's something that not a lot of people are aware of, but it's very important to us. And I'd like to know what you guys think. And I don't have a lot of people who watch my videos right now, so this video won't really reach so many people. But I mean, those who are watching, if you don't mind sharing it with others. I don't know, that just makes me feel like shameless plug here, but this is something that I really like to get other people's feedback on. And if you I want everyone who's watching this just to comment and tell me your own opinions, what you learned from it, what you disagree with me, what you agree with me on, whatever. I just really think that we should all just share information on that, and it would be really cool. But yeah, now we're on to 12 minutes. I'm incoming brulee, and I need to shut up. Bye.